I mean, I think she's settling down and taking what the defense gives her. I mean, she's doing a lot of facilitating. So she's getting people to kind of forget about her a little bit. We've had to play her out on the perimeter a little bit more. But then when we slide her down, she's not maybe as an easy target to smother her space. So I think it was good to have her go through it, and I'm sure she'll go through it again at some point throughout her career. But it's pretty cool to have her playing at the level that she's playing.
Howard and then Matt.
Thanks. Hi, Dawn. Good to chat with you.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a bigger picture question for you. It's hard not to think in a week in which Asia is given a statue and Kamala Harris is elevated to Vice President of the United States that this country may be getting better at what it has long failed to do, and that is to elevate and celebrate women of color, not just at all, but in real time. I'm wondering whether you think that we as a country are getting better at that, and whether you take any sort of larger trend from seeing these two events in the same weekend.
Are we getting better? I'm going to say yes, in hopes that it continues to do trend in that way. We can also look at the SEC and see how many Black coaches are, in our conference. There's movement, but I'm on this side of it. If you look at Kamala's viewpoint, she's the first. If you look at some other political seats is getting better. So I guess overall, yes, it's getting better. I hope it continues to trend. I know it will from a political standpoint because of what Black voters did, and not only the presidential election, but also the Senate races. And I think it's pretty cool that Black people decided that they wanted to utilize their voice through voting and create change. So that's a big change as well. So if we have that, I think we're trending in the right direction. So if you look at it from that vantage point, if you look at it from other people's, they're probably the poorest decisions on earth to have these people in these places, and to bestow Asia Wilson with the statue, to have Kamala as our vice president. That's where the growth needs to take place. I think we all can identify those, what's taking place. It is, the backlash that people have for those things that are happening in our country and in our sport.
Matt and then Greg.
Coach, going off of that, what was it like for you to watch today's inauguration, especially watching Kamala get sworn in and also to be sworn in by Justice Sotomayor?
I mean, it's really an exhale. Like, you're proud. I mean, you're proud for a lot of reasons. I'm proud because she's a Black woman that is doing something that has never been historical, that's never been done before. I'm proud because it looks different. I'm proud because our president, Joe Biden, decided to do something different that nobody's ever done before, and win. And it's a direct difference from what we seen over the decades, not just the past 4 years. And I know people are going to say, oh, don't get political. I mean, I'm answering a political question. I'm political because politics has a direct impact on my life, no matter how you want to look at it. So, and I think I'm especially aware of what's taken place over the past 4 years. And I think it's time for something different. And if you heard, President Biden's speech today, it wasn't a one-sided speech. It was a speech for for all people. And that's all people, want to feel like they're part of, what makes up our country and what makes our country great.
I'm gonna go back to Howard. I'm assuming he's on this similar topic as well. Go ahead, Howard.
I do. Thanks, Diana. I guess if you could just, you and Asia were the first over and over again, in all these different ways. At South Carolina, you've had a life of firsts. And I guess I'm wondering if you can cast light on what that means, what that feels like, the responsibility that comes along with it, and how often you think about what you've done and again, what you and Asia did together in those terms.
I don't reflect on it. I more think about what Asia's done, because her story is a little bit different in that she chose to come into to a place in which she knew that there was a tremendous amount of pressure on her to do well, it wasn't easy. She made it seem easy, but it wasn't. Behind closed doors, it wasn't easy because she couldn't go to the mall. She couldn't go to restaurants. She couldn't have a bad day, like out publicly. She couldn't have a bad day. She had to put on that face of the one that we know and love all the time. And she had a difficult time with that because sometimes she just wanted to be a person that wanted to go to, Foot Locker, pick up a pair of sneakers and go leave from the mall. But, when she goes, she's got to take pictures. She's got to do all of that. So I think it's pretty cool for her to do that. When you ask me, though, to kind of reflect on what it is to be the first, I have to reflect on the opportunity that I received to come here to South Carolina. And I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't make this decision based on being the first Black, female head coach here. It had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do with color. It had nothing to do with anything besides the innocence of playing basketball and creating a national powerhouse here in South Carolina. I did not know what that would look like. I did not know what the fans would look like. I didn't know how I would be received, but I didn't care, and sometimes you have to go into things not caring because you could be preparing for something that will never happen. I am a just in case type of person, but I'm also a person that can handle whatever's thrown at me in a way that is respectful, in a way that, I looked at Letitia's one of her text posts today, tweet posts that she posted, and she talked about treating your neighbor like you would want to be treated. And I think what we've done here in South Carolina is do just that. We treat people how we would want to be treated, and in return, they've turned us into an incredible place to play, incredible atmosphere for our student athletes to experience. And then for me and my family, an incredible place to grow old, to be quite honest. I mean, it's, it is that. And I hope that while we're speaking on it, I hope that, Madam Vice President Harris will be able to do that for our country. Because when you give Black women an opportunity, and I can speak from my own experience, we tend to be able to pivot and do well with the opportunity that we've been given.
Greg and then Mitch.
You mentioned Letitia's tweet. I was actually kind of curious. It seems like the players have been on social media a lot this year. I guess what in your decision to, let them have that? What made you think that they were, ready for that? Because that's not something you've typically done.
Yeah, some of my former players, they are like, what's going on? And these players have displayed a mature way of using social media. We got players who have a lot more than basketball that's going on that, that allows them to, broaden their brand. Because we did talk a lot about branding, and we're trying to get ahead of, what may take place with the name, image, and likeness. And, before you strip someone of utilizing their, social media and then the First Amendment right, all of that stuff plays a part in making decisions. And those are conversations that we do have to have. They are mature, but there's some that, will post something that we'll have to say, hey, you might want to take a look at that because here's what the other side of your post can have a different meaning. So, I mean, it's good to kind of keep them as responsible as possible while allowing them to enjoy being young and that part of their lifestyle.
And we'll close it out with Mitch.
I'm just going to stick on and finish it out on this note. Yeah, obviously, you talked about the SEC. Did you imagine in 2021 that we would have this many Black women coaches in SEC women's basketball? Obviously, you look at the sport, it is predominantly African-American women. But to see it in the SEC, are you surprised by this? What is your reaction to actually seeing it play out as the season goes along?
I'm completely surprised by it, to be quite honest, because no other conference in the country looks like the SEC. But I think here's what has taken place. I think my success has something to do with it, and I don't mean that in a narcissist way. I don't by any means, but I'm reflecting. I've been here. This is my 13th year, I believe. Nikki Caldwell, Fargus, has had a huge amount of success in our league. And then just to follow up on everybody else that has been hired after us, it goes to show that if given the opportunity, Black women can be successful. And I'm not saying that excluding white coaches at all. It's just we're doing something in the SEC that's historical, that's never been done before. And, there should be a bright light shed on that because, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Why shouldn't it be that way? Why shouldn't, Black women get the same opportunities as, anybody else in the country? Men get it, white men get it in our game. Not a whole lot of Black men get it in our game. And hopefully that changes where people just get opportunities, not from the, from the color of their skin, if they're Black, because we've been in this game long enough to know that, the color of your skin matters when it comes to hiring. I hope that we are setting the example for other conferences to get like us, because there's a need for Black women to coach Black women. There's a need for that, and being in the world that we're in, because if you're not a Black woman coaching predominantly Black women, you only know how you view the world, and it's not to say it's wrong. It's just different. It's different. I know that some of the things that our players are going to go through, just the majority of our players, will be from a Black woman's viewpoint, and how you navigate through that is very different than a white woman. And that's not creating separation. That's just fact. That's just the way it is. So I will know how, if one of my players will get into coaching, all the hurdles that they'll have to cross in order for them to be successful or to watch out for. So, I mean, you're asking questions. I'm giving you my, what I've been saying for years. But it is that doesn't mean that people can't be successful. No, it's not saying that at all. We just want more, more Black women to get opportunities because other people are getting it.
All right, last question to David.
Dawn, is everybody good to go for the game tomorrow night?
Everybody's good to go. Everybody's good to go. And we apologize. Practice took a little bit longer, having just one day and have to decompress from Arkansas and then get ready, turn the page and get ready for Georgia. It took a little bit longer than we anticipated.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thank you.